This is our assembly in respect of the International Romani Language Day. And on behalf of the European Roma Institute for Arts and Culture, it is my honor to welcome the Global Council of Experts and the participants, and also our distinguished speakers to launch the conference for safeguarding our Romani language. The European Roma Institute for Arts and Culture started the Romani Language Initiative in 2020 with the support of the Federal Foreign Office Germany, and also with the support of its founders, the Council of Europe, the Alliance for the European Roma Institute, and the Open Society Foundations. Our goal is to provide a platform for cooperating and harmonizing the Romani language on a global level, and to design future strategies for preserving the language heritage and to fulfill the general need in Europe for Romani language education and language re-education. I would like to introduce the first panel, the opening insights and keynote addresses by our distinguished speakers. First, Mr. Bjørn Berge, Deputy Secretary General of the Council of Europe. Good morning, Bjørn Berge.
Good morning, and it's very good to be with you today, and I look forward to this important conference. Executive Director of ERIAC, dear Timea, Chairwoman of the Culture and Education Committee of the European Parliament, Head of Unit for Non-discrimination and Roma coordination in the European Commission, distinguished guests, dear friends. It is a great pleasure to join you for the opening of this important conference. 3 years ago, ERIAC launched its Romani language initiative. The agenda before you today shows the confidence, progress, and momentum that it has developed since then. With your help and the inspiring leadership of Mihaela Citrianu, safeguarding our Romani language will now look to harmonize the Romani language based on international cooperation and pave the way to further teaching initiatives and materials that will extend the cultural reach of a language that is central to Romani identity and to cultural understanding throughout all of Europe. The Council of Europe is proud to support these aims, as we have always put strong emphasis on supporting linguistic and educational inclusion within our broader aim to help uphold Roma rights. For this, we have concrete and useful tools at our disposal. First and foremost, of course, the European Convention on Human Rights, interpreted by the European Court of Human Rights, but also the European Charter for Regional and Minority Languages, the only specific and legally binding international treaty in its field, and whose Committee of Experts monitoring group helps member states to implement it. One key aim has been to support national authorities in providing access to Romani language as an integral part of curricula at all levels of education, with proper teacher training and relevant teaching materials, and in a way that supports integration. We have also provided guidance on the use of Romani in different fields of public life, in cultural activities, and even in the use of social media. Over recent years, we have also developed specific new tools on language and education for Romani people. This includes our recommendation from the year 2000 to all our 46 European governments, making it clear that Romani children should have the opportunity to learn at school in their mother tongue, as well as our landmark Strasbourg Declaration on Roma from 2010, which established as a priority, and I quote, measures to foster knowledge of the culture, history, and languages of Roma at the national level. I also want to mention here our curriculum framework for Romani, which comes with a range of resources, all aimed at widening access to good teaching in Romani for Romani. Last but not least, the Council of Europe's strong support for the establishment of ERIAC in 2017. Yes, indeed, language is one of the many areas on which we have cooperated since. For example, on promoting Romani teaching material developed jointly with ERIAC and Ukraine's Ministry of Education, and implemented as part of the Council of Europe's current action plan for Ukraine. More broadly, ERIAC's valuable input on language and other issues has been central to our action plans on Roma and traveler inclusion. We try to help in as many areas as possible. Today, our Roma and travelers team is working closely with local authorities in the Western Balkans and Turkey to help support the official use of Romani to promote identity, culture, and tolerance. Further joint programs are also planned. So, dear friends, things are of course far from perfect. We all know that. There is so much more to do across Europe to ensure that Romani can learn in their own language, and that this language is also fully recognized and celebrated for its significant contribution to European cultural life. But overall, the trajectory is positive. We want to work with you, learn from your valuable experience, alongside the many talented people at this conference, with ERIAC, of course, itself, which is doing so much good in fostering and promoting every aspect of Romani arts and culture. I can only express my deep admiration for its work and congratulate the German authorities for their steadfast and valuable support for it. I wish you all a very successful conference, and thank you so much for your attention.
Dear Deputy Secretary General, dear Mr. Berge, thank you for launching our conference with these important notes. I now invite Sabine Verheyen, Chairwoman of the Committee for Culture and Education from the European Parliament. She unfortunately couldn't personally be present with us today at the conference. We will show her a video message to affirm the importance of safeguarding and protecting the Romani language.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and fellow language enthusiasts, I would like to start by thanking ERIAC and especially you, dear Timea, to invite me to today's conference. I would have loved to speak personally to you. However, I'm truly honored to address you via video message as you gather today to discuss a subject of great importance, the safeguarding of the Romani language. As chair of the Committee on Culture and Education in the European Parliament, I would like to put a special emphasis on Europe and the role of this European Union in achieving this crucial goal. History and language are integral components of culture. Together, they play a key role in shaping and preserving the identity of a particular culture and its people. They are vehicles through which a culture is expressed, understood, and preserved. A culture's history is its foundation. It tells the story of the people, their origins, migrations, struggles, and achievements. Understanding this history is significant for preserving and passing on cultural heritage. The history of the Romani people in Europe, numerically the largest minority group, is one of migration, discrimination, and resilience. Romani communities have faced various challenges throughout history. The Romani communities have also made a vibrant and rich contribution to Europe's cultural and historical heritage. They have enriched our cultural heritage with their music, dance, or other talents, leaving an indelible mark on European culture. The situation today is still far from ideal, as Romani communities face discrimination, poverty and lack of access to education and employment opportunities. Regrettably, the Romani population is disproportionately affected by these challenges. The European Union has recognized the importance of addressing these issues. This is reflected not least in various resolutions of the European Parliament, as well as in several political initiatives of the European Commission and Member State level. In 2020, the European Commission launched its flagship initiative, the EU Roma Strategy Framework, which is a crucial step forward in our commitment to promoting equality, socio-economic inclusion and meaningful participation of the Romani community. The EU Roma Strategic Framework recognizes the urgency of addressing these challenges. It is not merely a set of policies and guidelines. It is a commitment to social justice, a promise to end the cycle of discrimination, and a pledge to ensure that citizens can fully participate in the life of the European Union. It sets out a number of targets on minimum progress to be achieved by 2030 and provides guidance to EU member states on how to do this. These targets include combating and preventing discrimination, reducing poverty and exclusion, promoting participation, housing, employment, healthcare and education. And we have already achieved some positive results in the member states. Nevertheless, there is still a lot of work to be done. Everything starts with education. Without knowing the past, we cannot fully understand the present and shape the future. It is valid for the history of Romani people as for any other. The teaching of history in education plays a crucial role in creating a fundamental basis for mutual understanding in society. Such learning encompasses the requirement to learn from the bright and dark moments in our histories alike. Thus, any engagement with history needs to be reflective and self-critical. The next generation should be given the chance to better understand the history of the Romani community, and this can only happen through proper education. Appropriate reflection of Roma history and culture in curricula and textbooks should be a must. We should not rest behind stereotypical thinking, but create a real understanding for each other and especially for marginalized groups. We, in the Committee on Culture and Education in the European Parliament, will not get tired of standing up for the importance of history in education, not only in formal education, but also in informal education. Another fundamental component of culture is language. Language is not only the primary means of communication within a culture, it is used to create and share cultural expressions, including stories, literature, poetry, songs and rituals. Through language, cultural knowledge, customs and traditions are passed down from one generation to the next. Many cultures have oral traditions that rely on language for preservation. Finally, language is often a fundamental component of cultural identity. It distinguishes one culture from another and provides a sense of belonging for its speakers. The Romani language faces several threats, both internal and external, which endanger its survival and continued use. While many languages struggle with the widespread use of dominant languages in media and entertainment due to globalization, which contributes to the marginalization of their use and further language shifts, the challenges for the Romani language are even more profound. Historical and contemporary forced relocations and displacements of Romani communities, coupled with discrimination and prejudice against Romani people, have long disrupted language transmissions and contributed to the weakening of linguistic ties. This unfortunate history has favored the circumstance that the Romani language lacks a standardized written form, making it exceedingly challenging to develop educational materials and resources for the language. The absence of a standardized written system further hinders the preservation and promotion of this rich and vibrant language, underscoring the need for concerted efforts to ensure its survival and vitality in the face of these adversities. The fate of Romani and its dialects is uncertain. Its linguistic survival faces different odds depending on the country and that country's historical background. Nevertheless, the European Union is committed to collective efforts in preserving the Romani language. The EU is not just a union of economies, it is a union of cultures, languages and people. It is a beacon of hope for preserving and promoting linguistic diversity. However, promoting the Romani language within the European Union is not only an important act of linguistic preservation, but also a significant step towards upholding the principles of cultural and linguistic diversity enshrined in both EU treaties and the Council of Europe Charter for Regional and Minority Languages. The study and promotion of Roma culture and language are undeniably linked to these fundamental principles, serving as a testament of the EU's commitment to safeguarding cultural heritage and protecting minority languages. The EU's dedication to preserving the rich tapestry of cultures and languages is firmly rooted in its legal framework. The EU treaties and the Council of Europe Charter for Regional and Minority Languages explicitly emphasizes the importance of fostering linguistic diversity. By promoting the Romani language and its numerous local dialects, the EU demonstrates its determination to adhere to these commitments, ensuring that linguistic pluralism remains an integral part of its identity. To achieve this goal, the EU allocates substantial funds to the study of Roma history, culture and language, acknowledging the need to preserve this valuable heritage. Furthermore, several EU member states have proactively initiated programs to incorporate the teaching of Roma culture, history and language into their school curricula. Examples for best practice here are, for instance, Austria, Cyprus, Ireland, Romania and Italy. These initiatives are pivotal in nurturing the sense of inclusivity, fostering understanding and eradicating discrimination against the Romani community. By including the study of the Romani language in these programs, the EU encouraged the revitalization of this endangered language. Thus, European Union's promotion of the Romani language aligns with its commitment to preserving cultural and linguistic diversity as mandated by its legal framework. Through financial support, educational programs and the acknowledgement of the Romani language as an integral part of the European heritage, the EU not only safeguards linguistic diversity, but also takes significant steps towards fostering social cohesion and inclusivity. By doing so, it upholds the principles of unity in diversity that are the core of the European project. I would like to end by mentioning the remarkable initiative, the International Romani Language Reform, on which today's event is based. The initiative builds upon the solid groundwork laid by the Council of Europe's Language Policy Division in 2008. It strives to continue international collaboration with experts in the field of the common Romani language, develop teaching materials based on the curriculum framework for Romani, and provide support for Roma individuals in their language relearning needs. The conference serves as a powerful tool for establishing cooperation, both at the national and international levels, promoting recognition, preservation, development and cultural political harmony for the future of the Romani language. However, the commitment does not end here. The project also aims to continue standardizing the Romani language, engaging with the International Language Council by writing Romani language textbooks, and I'm looking forward to the further engagement of the initiatives to expand the database of qualified teachers to promote the relearning of the Romani language, to register international Romani language schools, and much more. Finally, as we gather here today, let us remember that preserving the Romani language is not just about maintaining words. It's about safeguarding a rich cultural heritage and ensuring that the voice of the Romani community continues to be heard in the diverse chorus of Europe. The European Union, through its support and initiatives, is a key partner in this endeavor. However, we must all come together as a collective force to safeguard the Romani language and in doing so celebrate the cultural diversity that enriches our continent. Thank you, and may this conference serve as a platform for further cooperation and harmonization, ensuring the Romani language's bright future.
Dear Sabine Verheyen, we thank you for your endorsement and encouragement. And also this affirmation by the Committee for Culture and Education of the European Parliament on the efforts of safeguarding, protecting and harmonizing the Romani language is essential for the future work of the ERIAC's Language Council and language experts. Allow me to proceed to the next speaker. The support of the European Commission for the ERIAC institution and also for the ERIAC expert sections, including the language section, is essential for keeping our work for the creation of the language books, A1 and A2 completed, and A3 is also in the way. And also the assemblies of the language experts are happening with the institutional support of the European Commission. It is our honor and pleasure that you could join in person. I pass the word to Szabolcs Schmidt, Head of Unit of the Non-discrimination and Roma Coordination Unit of the European Commission.
Thank you. Dear Executive Director, Honorable Member of the Parliament, dear Deputy Secretary General, distinguished participants, dear ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to use this opportunity to congratulate all Roma to this International Romani Language Day, which is the day with which the international community is recognizing the importance of the Romani language as a unifying element for the Roma identity. I'm also very pleased that ERIAC, the European Roma Institute for Arts and Culture, has this year invited the European Commission services to also take part in this conference, which focuses indeed on a core element of Roma identity and culture, but not only. As the Honourable Member of Parliament said it already, the Romani language is part of our common, shared European cultural heritage. In every community, language is the foundation of our identity. It serves as the vehicle for social, economic and cultural interaction. So our language diversity, our linguistic diversity is indeed an essential part of our rich European fabric of European culture. When languages are not preserved and protected, then our diversity is diminished. Romani is indeed a genuinely European cultural asset. Even though it's not a standardized language, it is the language of the largest ethnic minority in the European Union. And it is spoken in very different, many different dialects, but it is understood by many people mutually from the very north to the very south, from the east to the west of the European Union. I'm very confident that today's event will also contribute and help to further work on what has been achieved already to safeguard the Romani language, starting with the Romani World Congress in 1971 and all the subsequent congresses, the furthering of the recognition of the Romani language has advanced and being built. The Council of Europe has provided very important background work, but I think the process intensified rapidly with the series of conferences that have been organized by ERIAC, starting 4 years ago, the first time with the conference called Arakas Amari Romani Chip, safeguarding our Romani language. And today we have already the fourth edition. I'm also happy that the European Commission, together with the European Parliament, could contribute 2 years ago in the framework of the EU Roma Week with a dedicated session that was called Promoting Positive Narratives and Raising Awareness about the Romani language. It took place in April 2022. I'm now very much looking forward that the discussions today will help to define the best ways forward to promote the further harmonization of Romani language, its wide teaching application and the use, as well as the continuing and the strengthening of its roles in domains like education, research, but also media and public political discourse. For the European Commission, it is also important to stress and to keep in mind that promoting awareness of Roma culture, language and history among all Europeans can indeed help us to reduce prejudice and anti-Gypsyism. The Honourable Member of the Parliament has already referred to the new EU Roma Strategic Framework for Equality, Inclusion and Participation. We are all aware that language policy is an exclusive competence of EU member states. However, this new Roma strategic framework has for the first time a new explicit objective of fighting and preventing anti-Gypsyism and discrimination. Among the various measures to achieve these objectives, all member states of the European Union are invited to develop measures to promote Roma art, history, and culture. I am extremely happy on behalf of the European Commission services that this approach has been confirmed unanimously by all member states of the European Union by adopting a Council recommendation in which the member states commit themselves politically to set out a number of measures to promote awareness of Roma culture, language and history. And there are concrete examples, for instance, teacher training, the design of appropriate school curricula, all that to combat prejudice and anti-Gypsyism. I would also like to refer to the national Roma strategic frameworks that have been put into place by the member states in response to these EU-level initiatives, which are supposed to reflect all these commitments. And as you probably all know, the Commission has published at the beginning of this year a report in which we assessed all the national Roma inclusion, equality and participation strategies of all the member states of the European Union. And when it comes to the question of anti-discrimination, of equality, of anti-Gypsyism, we also looked into the way how member states have included measures to promote Romani language in their strategies. And I'm indeed very pleased to confirm that several member states have such strategies which explicitly are linked to Romani language. A few examples were already provided. I can add also the example of Croatia, which has committed to develop further its school curricula and also the teacher training. Austria was also already mentioned, which has committed to give bilingual language training in a part of Austria where Romani children are at home. Also Finland has a comprehensive action plan to develop also its Finnish Romani dialect. Sweden has a very interesting program to build up a language center and a library, and the list could be continued with Slovenia, Hungary, Romania, Greece, or Slovakia. I'm convinced that many of these national initiatives will benefit greatly, not only from the academic expertise, but also from the concrete tools that have been developed by ERIAC together with all the experts who are present in this conference today. I can only reconfirm that the European Commission stands ready to facilitate this process and also to provide support that is needed for such concerted EU-wide initiatives. Speaking about support, I think we have to speak also very briefly about financing and funding support. And I think it is indeed important to be aware that we have several programs in place where the European taxpayer is supporting such processes of common European interest. There is first to be mentioned the program called Citizen Equality, Rights and Values, which is in particular promoting activities to build positive narratives, to combat negative stereotypes, and to raise awareness about history and culture, including, of course, also Roma history and culture. And under this program, activities in relation to Romani language can be funded. Also under the SURF program, we were able to provide the institutional support to ERIAC in the framework of a long-standing framework partnership agreement, and I'm really very much convinced that this is a good investment of the EU taxpayers' money, and I'm really pleased to see how also this language initiative is about to play an important role towards the global harmonization of Romani language. Looking a little bit to the future in terms of funding, I would like to use this opportunity also to draw your attention to the support that the European Commission is giving in the framework of its research programs, which is called Horizon Europe. There you might have noted that there is a new call for proposals out, which has been just opened, which is named Strategies to Strengthen the European Linguistic Capital in a Globalized World. This is extremely interesting because it is meant to assemble research and science, but also reach out to local communities, to involve those who are actually using, and it is in particular focusing on endangered languages, on languages that are important to preserve the identity. So I can only very strongly recommend all of you to work together to look into this possibility. The call is open until February 2024, until the beginning of February. So there's still a little bit of time, but not too much. And last not least, let me also point out at this occasion on a modest but important and concrete initiative to promote awareness and knowledge about Roma culture within our own institution. A couple of years ago, we have initiated a pilot program to teach Romani language within the European Commission services, so that our own civil servants get acquainted with this very rich language. And I'm very happy to see here Diana Kirilova, who was the first teacher, and to see also that Professor Hristo Kjuchukov is with us, whom we had the pleasure and honor, first of all, to have as a guest lecturer on several occasions. Let me now conclude by emphasizing again that Romani language is not only a core aspect of Roma identity and culture, it also constitutes an important element of our common shared European cultural heritage. Second, the Commission is fully aware that further efforts are needed to tackle the challenges. affecting the preservation and harmonization of Romani languages, and to assure that it can flourish in different areas of public discourse, not only in education and research, but also beyond, in media and in the public discourse. At EU level, I would like to reaffirm that we are ready to support activities and projects in relation to Roma history, culture, including language, under our programs. Of course, we very much count on the member states to follow on their own commitments and to make all the necessary efforts in their national Roma equality inclusion strategy, and that those member states who have not yet addressed this topic sufficiently will reconsider and also work on this topic. Last not least, I wish to emphasize how important it is that all this work is not done in isolation. It is extremely important that science, research, teachers, civil society work together with administration so that whatever measure is implemented, it indeed reflects the actual needs of Roma communities. I wish to use this opportunity to express my appreciation for ERIAC and all the experts around the table for the fantastic work done in such a short time. I'm confident that by working together we can achieve that the Romani language remains a vital expression of Roma culture for generations to come. Kamaf tumenge savorete ketane te jan anglepe kado drom te zuriaren I Romani chip. At jives mangav tumenge shuka diskusia nais tumenge, or should I rather say palikaraf tumenge? Te avel sastetai bachtale.
Thank you. Dear Szabolcs Schmidt, speaking on behalf of the European Commission and endorsing the European Roma Institute's initiative for safeguarding and protecting the Romani language, calling our attention to available support and also the important research and recommendation of the commissions for protecting Roma cultural heritage and also the endangered cultural heritage of Romani language was very important in the launching section of this conference. Just a few words at the end of our first and launching panel, all the alliance that we have built with the language section, including building on the results of building on the EU Charter for Minority Languages, building on the rigorous work of the Council of Europe and their work on Roma and Traveller inclusion, and also on the work of the Language Policy Division of the Council of Europe since 2008. And also building a close alliance of the ERIAC institution and sections, and especially the language section, with the European Commission, and working with the support of the Federal Foreign Office internationally is still not enough if we would not have the expertise, the commitment, the passion of the ERIAC language section and of the leader of the ERIAC language initiative and language reform, Mihaela Țatreanu. I also would like to say that, as always, I am humbled by the expertise of the conference participants, and we are all humbled and challenged and really passionate about your commitment, diligence and work for protecting and safeguarding our Romani language. Today, only every fourth Romani person speaks Romani, and relearning, protecting and transferring Romani language, this endangered heritage, to the new generation is a mission of ERIAC. Thank you for your contribution. I wish you a wonderful conference and happy International Romani Language Day. We will now go on a short 15-minute break and resume to continue the conference. This is just a note for the online participants. Please have a coffee. And then we return here in 15 minutes. 10:45 exactly. Yes. Thank you.
Davel Bachtali, Amari Romani Chip of Dives. Naisarastumenge, Savorenge.